Hello, my brothers and sisters in time. My name is George Alexander. I am the co-founder, CEO, chief watch designer, and chief perfumer of Maison, also known as the Black Horologist. Welcome back to the channel. I was kind of hoping to have this posted the day before, but you know what, it works out. So for the next 5 weeks, I want to kind of focus on some of my favorite brands, the brands that really got me into horology and into watchmaking and into watch designing and all of that. Just so you can kind of get a feel for my background, a feel for, where this love of watches has really come from. As you may or may not know, depending on how well you know me and how long you've been tuning into the channel, I got my start in watches working at Jared the Galleria of Jewelry here in Buffalo, New York. When I got started there, it was May of 2017, and my general manager, John Stefaniak, shout out to store 2421, and my assistant manager, Liz Mertens, told me, hey, if you want to get good here and you want to, do well before you get diamond certified, learn watches, because we need someone to, kind of be the guy when it comes to watches. At the time, we were an Omega authorized dealer and a Tag authorized dealer. Also sold Bulova, Movado, Citizen. Ended up starting to sell Shinola for a little while. Rado, Michelle. I think I said Shinola. I want to say that we did pre-owned Rolex as well. Tissot. And a few here and there, other ones that we sold for however long. And the one that really caught my eye, and it's the brand that we're going to be talking about today, was Omega. And I really fell in love with horology and with watches because of Omega. And becoming sort of like our Omega guy. It would translate to me becoming our luxury timepiece guru when Signet launched that initiative later in my tenure there. So, just a quick little bit of background before I dive right in. Omega is one of my favorite brands. They are under the Swatch umbrella. They've been around forever. A lot of history in this brand. You've probably seen them at the Olympics. They are the official timekeeper of the Olympics. Every Michael Phelps race, obviously, was timed by Omega. He even got a special edition, like custom collection that was really, really cool. You see it pictured, or at least a piece of it pictured on the screen. Very, very incredible watches with an incredible story. Also the first watch worn on the moon. So Buzz Aldrin, 1969. They had a test. All kinds of watch brands sending in watches to be tested to be worn on the astronaut mission to the moon. Omega ended up winning out. Buzz Aldrin, when he went to the moon, was wearing an Omega. So absolutely incredible story, and one that in a later episode we'll probably dive a little bit deeper into. You've also probably seen Omega on the wrist of Daniel Craig, several others. I want to say Pierce Brosnan, maybe Pierce Brosnan as well. Every James Bond since I want to say GoldenEye has worn an Omega. And every time there's a James Bond movie, they release a special edition Omega timepiece. Also, I want to say it was the Apollo 13 mission where the engines failed, and they had to time out the 15-second burn or whatever that was to help get them home. That was an Omega watch that they used, and I believe it was that helped Omega earn the Silver Snoopy Award, which is reflected in a very exclusive Silver Snoopy collection, the one of which you can see on the screen. Again, the Snoopy, it's a lot of people's Grail watch. A lot of people really love it. I like it a lot. I like the true to form Hesalite crystal moon watch. That's one of my like dream watches. Omega, anybody at Omega or Swatch, if you're watching this, made y'all quite a bit of money. Please break bread. All jokes aside, though, Omega is one of my favorite brands and one of the brands that really inspires me. They had made a Seamaster 300 that had one that had a lapis dial and one that had a malachite dial, and coincidentally, those along with some stuff that I saw from Piaget actually influenced the Pistis collection very heavily. Pistis Lapis and Pistis Chrysocolla were the first two that I conceptualized. Of course, Lapis has the lapis lazuli dial, and Pistis Chrysocolla has the malachite dial, much like that Seamaster 300. So a big thank you to Omega for just all the inspiration. I had a great relationship with Sandy. She was my Omega rep when I was on the retail side for Jared. So we would communicate quite a bit. One of the things that I really loved that Omega did was going to 5-year warranties on all their watches. Excuse me, y'all. It's been a day, and one of the things that I pride myself on, and I think that y'all have come to expect and love from me, I hope y'all love it, is my authenticity. So if I'm a yawn on camera, I'm not editing it out, so y'all gonna get these yawns. But getting back to Omega, the 5-year warranty is I mean, what better way to instill confidence in you? And there was a point in time when they did I think it was 2, 3, 4, and 5-year warranties, depending on what kind of timepiece it was that you had. And from a seller's perspective, obviously, it wasn't the make or break ever, but it was very interesting putting that up against, say, a 5-year warranty for a Citizen. And there's nothing wrong with Citizen. They occupied 2 completely different spaces in the watch world, right? So for those of you who don't really know about Omega, don't know it very well, price point, you're looking, easily 3,000 and up. Most of them are going to be hovering in that between $4,000 and $7,000-ish, $4,000 and $8,000 price range. But obviously, as you get increasingly complex, increasingly complicated watches, like that DeVille Central Tourbillon, which is my absolute favorite Omega ever. Obviously, it's gonna start running you. And you may be watching this, and if you're not super familiar with the brand, you're probably wondering why this brand, what makes it so special. Omega uses coaxial movements, and I think I've spoken about movements in a previous episode. I do plan on getting into coaxial in a later episode, so bear with me on that. I think that's actually going to be a very, very interesting crash course in that, and really lead to a lot of curiosity from a lot of you about watchmaking. So I'm excited to share that with you. But again, back to the task at hand. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a bunch of tangents. The coaxial movement gives you a more accurate readout of time for longer. Requires significantly less lubrication than most other movements. Very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. And it has kind of become Omega's calling card. They also have, COSC certified chronometers. But then they also have their master chronometers, which are held to even more exacting standards. I think it's by Metis. I believe it's Metis. But again, even more demanding standards than usual to be considered a master chronometer. I believe all their master chronometers are also anti-magnetic to 15 milgauss, which means that going through strong magnetic fields will not affect the inner workings of the watch. You know, you're talking, you know, super shock resistant as well. They've got a they've got a great power reserve. I want to say there's silicone in there. It's been a minute since I've brushed up on the movement. So yeah, definitely a really really good brand, great stories attached to them, great experiences. I've never had a bad experience with Omega except selling them. And it was nothing against Omega. It was more the way some people act about it. I've heard it all. So, you know, one of the things that they're doing now that is, I guess, it's controversial. I actually love it. I love that they're doing it. They've partnered with Swatch because they're, you know, both under the Swatch group, and they're making the moon watches a lot more accessible by making the moon swatch, which I believe is in like a bioceramic. So a lot less expensive, but it's a lot more adventurous. It's at a much lower price point, so it is less intimidating price wise and less exclusive and exclusionary, and less price prohibitive. So people are getting things that are Omega branded, and there are people who, you know, purists who are super up in arms about it, you know, hate it, and, you know, like, oh, I'm never buying another Omega, you know, doing things that are too gimmicky, and, you know, it's each his own. But I can't imagine this being a bad thing. I think that it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I truly, truly love Omega. I truly think that they're one of the best watches on the market, and just a great luxury timepiece. I've made friends selling Omegas. I have, you know, former clients of mine who obviously I don't work in that space anymore, but, you know, who I'm still very cool with. Shout out to my guy Josh. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your friendship. Yeah, yeah. I would love to see more from Omega. I love their golds. I love how they do gold, like the moonshine gold, the Sedna gold. I really like the way that they do that. I love the Speedmaster collection, especially the moon watches and all of the different variations. Another one of my dream watches from them is the black Dark Side of the Moon in full ceramic. I think that that's super super sleek. Very dark, obviously. Can be understandably hard to read. The regular Dark Side of the Moon is beautiful too. I actually had a hand in selling that one time, and that was one of my proudest moments. You know, selling Omegas. I really really loved that watch. The Planet Oceans are awesome. They're a bit big for my wrist, but if you like a bigger, but not like obnoxiously big watch, definitely worth it. It's, you know, a professional diver. The Claw Prof is pretty much all function. The form is okay. You know, obviously it's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to work. And I think, was it 1,500 meters or something like that? Just some ridiculous amount. And, you know, the ones that are divers have the helium escape to depressurize it so that the crystal doesn't pop off. You know, you're talking 316L surgical stainless steel. You're talking sapphire crystals, sapphire crystal case backs with the anti-reflective on both sides. You're talking, again, master chronometers, and, you know, but they've got a bunch of different collections. The Trezors, I think, are really, really cool. My wife and I were looking at them literally yesterday. She had challenged me, and this is going to be a fun episode one day. Is my wife challenged me to find watches that I think that she would like within certain price points, and the Trezor Mini was what I had found for her. And honestly, that was my first pick for her, and it just knocked it out of the park. It was really cool. But the Trezor is beautiful, and again, you see it on the screen. Speedmasters, again, so nice. Seamasters, which can be divided into the Aquaterras, the Pro Divers, the Seamaster 300s, all of that. I'm not opposed to it, but it's not my favorite. The Railmaster, I was really, really happy when they brought it back. It is a pure timepiece. Okay, I don't even have a date on it. But it is as reliable and utilitarian a watch as you're going to find. So definitely a shout out to them. All the Bond watches have been really cool. The Spectre one is probably my favorite one out of the series. It's just so cool looking. Obviously the Snoopy, all the Moon watches, the DeVilles. I like the DeVilles. I kind of wanted to buy one. Kind of was my entry there. My store manager John has one, I should say. It just always looks good. It always looks good. So. Yeah, it's just such a beautiful brand. I still have the Omega University training books and all of this stuff I have amassed over the years. Certain details, like the silicone part is escaping me, but I know that it impacts the shock resistance of the timepiece. And that's cool. It's a watch that is, not easily rattled. It's resilient like we should all be. But I'm really, really happy that I'm able to use this platform and give Omega their flowers. The world's going to keep turning anyway with them. They sit very high in the watch game, and they're very highly respected, and rightfully so. So I'm excited to see what they come out with next. I'm excited to see what they come out with this year and beyond. Omega, if you're looking for some inspo and need a strapping young lad to design something for you to kind of push the envelope, I do know a guy. But yeah, I'd love to get to work with them one day, because you see watch brands collab all the time. Designers designing for multiple brands. So obviously they are so well established, and they have such a grip on their segment of the market. They're an inspiration to any up and coming watch brand, and whether you want a seat at the table or to create your own table like I do, you can draw a lot of inspiration from the brands that have been around since the 1800s. So and Omega is very clearly no different. So again, a shout out to Omega, a shout out to the Swatch Group, a shout out to Sandy, who was Sandy Chapman, I believe her last name was. She was my Omega rep when I was working at Jared. Shout out to John Stefaniak and Liz Mertens and Christina Fortune, and all of my former coworkers at Jared. I love you all, and I'm so grateful for your continued friendship and the opportunity that I had to get to work with you when I did. But yeah, that really wraps up this week. Looking forward to going into more personal detail about another brand next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. So that's what March is going to be for us. So look for that. We'll be having 5 episodes in the month of March. While you're here, if you made it this far, hit the like button, hit the comment, hit the share button. I'd love to hear from you. Follow us at the Black Horologist. Follow Maison de Filion at Maison de Filion on all platforms. Look out for the Inside La Maison series as well. We got a lot cooking. Make sure that you go and pre-order the Pistrus collection. And I'm looking forward to bringing you more and better and just more expansive collections as time goes on. Find your favorite watch, wear it in good health. Always live life in celestial motion. I love you all. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for going down this ride with me through the world of horology. My name is George Alexander. I am the co-founder, CEO, chief watch designer, and chief perfumer of Maison de Filion, also known as the Black Horologist. Signing off. Love y'all.